You're listening to the Confidence Coach Podcast, episode 75. I could never do that. Good morning, ladies. Happy Tuesday. I am recording this same day. If you've been listening in, I've had a cold for like the past week, so I've used up all of my pre-recorded episodes that I have done solo. I still have a handful of interviews that will come out on Wednesdays this month, so if you're looking forward to an interview, make sure to tune in. On Wednesdays, I have some pretty incredible, badass women on the podcast this month, and I'm super excited to share their stories, their journeys, their struggles, their successes, all of the things with you guys. But today, I want to talk to you about how you speak to yourself. I'm sure you've heard this before. People talk about, like affirmations or like I am statements or negative self-talk. Hell, you've probably heard me talk about it. So I just wanted to jump on here quick because this is day 2 of the challenge inside my free Facebook group called Badass Village. If you want to be a part of it, scroll down to the show notes. I will put the link in the show notes. Otherwise, you can always head over to facebook.com/badassvillage, and you can always search for me, sashadavis.com. I have all of the information up there. This challenge was created to help hold me accountable to my self-care, to my personal goals, my business goals, getting outside my comfort zone. And I just thought it would be really cool to share it with all of you guys. I'm all about showing up as I am and sharing all of the tools and strategies that I have in my tool belt with you guys. So today I want to ask you, have you ever said these things to yourself? Because I know I have. You say things like, I wish, I can't, must be nice, I could never, that's not for me, I don't know, all of these things, right? This was me. I would always second guess myself. I would overthink things. I would let my brain do the talking and not my gut, not my intuition, not my soul. I was not listening to what my soul was craving. And if you want to hear somebody talk a lot about soul crave, I want you to check out these 2 people. The first one is Danielle Laporte. Okay, she talks about core desired feelings. Check her out. The other person is Heather Chauvin, Mom is in Control podcast. She always talks about what your soul is craving. Okay. Now listen to yourself. I wish I could do this. I can't do this. Wouldn't it be nice if I could do this? Oh, I could never do that. Well, I'm going to tell you, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. The way you speak to yourself is powerful. Powerful. Words hurt, you guys. Words freaking hurt. And it's not so much just the word, but what the energy behind the word is. So if you say something like, I wish I could have a successful business. I wish I could quit my corporate job and do my own thing. Oh, I can't reach out to that person. What if they say no? Oh, I could never run that race. Oh, it must be nice to do what she did. I used to do the must be nice thing all the time, not ever realizing how much work it took to get to that point. I always thought people were just handed things. I was like, oh yeah, it must be nice. I bet they were just handed that new car or that house or that job or whatever. I never knew how much work went into something until I started doing it myself. Even when I worked at my corporate job, a lot of times I just thought, oh, it must be nice to have that corner office. Must be nice. And then I had that corner office and I was like, man, this fucking sucks. Or I had the management positions or the supervisor jobs that I'm like, oh yeah, it must be nice just to come and go as you please and be in control of everybody and da-da-da-da-da. No, you guys, it's not all butterflies and rainbows, okay? Think of all the work that went into becoming that person, that position, that career. And sometimes we can be fooled, but it takes work to get to where you want to go. And the other thing that I used to say is, I don't know if I could ever do that. Or sometimes I didn't even know that it was a thing that you could do that. Like if you would have asked me 5 years ago, Sasha, you're going to have your own business, you're going to have your own podcast, you're going to have your own website and all of these things, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, no way. Like that's not a thing. Like people don't do that. But it was because I didn't know. I was so in the zone of climbing the corporate ladder that I didn't even know it was possible to be my own brand. But then I saw somebody else do it. And I thought, holy shit. Instead of saying to myself, I could never do that, I said, I want to do that. If that person can do it, that just validates that I can do it too. So I want you to turn this around. So instead of saying, I wish, say, I'm going to do that. Or if it's not something that you want to do, say, I don't want to do that, and see how that feels. If that doesn't sit right, find a way to make it happen. You have to create a fire under your ass so big that you will make shit happen. If you have a certain goal that you want to hit this month, say you want 5 new clients in your business, and you're like, I'm scared. I don't know where to start or what to do or who to talk to or any of these things. I want you to find a way to make it happen. Collaborate, Google it, go on Pinterest, start having conversations, go publicly speak places, go network, go to events, hire a coach, do whatever you need to do to get out of your comfort zone to get that goal. Light a fire under your ass. If it was life or death, you would find a way to make it happen. Same thing with the I can'ts. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's too scary, or that's not for me. Say, I don't want to. I can't afford that. I don't want to afford that. How does that feel? Sometimes it's okay because it might not be what you want at that time, but listen to your gut, not your head. You can do incredible, incredible things if you open your mind to possibility. If you open your mind to opportunity, and then you have somebody like me throw a little bit of strategy at you. I find it so interesting that we can see potential in other people before they can see potential in themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like you could probably look at your kids or a friend online and say, wow, gosh, she's doing all the things. The possibilities are endless for her. Or look at your kids and be like, the world is your oyster. You could do anything. You are so smart. You're so talented. But then we look at ourselves and say, I could never do that. I couldn't make that work. No, that's not for me. We tell ourselves the exact opposite of what we would tell somebody else. We struggle to take our own damn advice. And that's why it's important to have accountability or to have tools and strategies in place to call you out on your bullshit. This was one of the first things that I noticed about my first coach, and the reason that I was so attracted to her, because I'm a bullshitter, or I used to be anyways. I could tell myself these bullshit stories to the point where I would believe them, or I would tell other people bullshit stories to the point where, they believed me, or I would just confuse people enough to where they agreed with me, like at corporate and things like that. And this woman called me out on my bullshit. She straight up was like, Sasha, stop bullshitting yourself. And that was the first time that I've ever had somebody hold me accountable to a level that I couldn't hold myself accountable. And now I was so inspired by it that I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed in my life. This is exactly what I need to do. I need to call myself out on bullshit, and I need to call everybody else on their bullshit too. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person. I bet you have done it too. You've told a bullshit story to somebody to make you sound better than what you are, or better than what you're doing, or that everything's okay, Or you tell yourself bullshit stories like, everything's fine, everything's fine. Nope, I guess I don't really need that bad. No, I guess not everything's not that bad. Bullshit. You don't have to be homeless for things to be bad or to want things to be better. I said that backwards. You don't have to wait until you're living paycheck to paycheck to want more. Like, it is okay to want more. It is okay to create abundance in your life. And this is something that was really hard for me to understand, because I was like, oh, I just need enough to get by. I just need enough to get by. And then when I started to like get extra, I'm like, what do I do with this extra? How do I have too much. I need to give it away. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling to have more than what I quote needed. And so I would bullshit myself that I didn't need it. And I would like give money away, or I would like buy things that I didn't necessarily need, because I'm like, oh, well, I can't have this much in my bank account because I don't want people to think a certain way about me. I don't want to give like this certain image and things like that. And so it was a mindset shift for me to go from the I can't, I don't want to the I am and the abundance factor. Like, we don't always have to be in this lack mindset. We don't always have to be fear-based. We don't always have to be afraid to be ourselves or say what we want. You get what you ask for. So if you are saying everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, nothing is going to change. But if you say something's not right here, I can't keep doing this. You feel like you're Groundhog's Day. Every day you wake up, same shit, different day, go to sleep, do it all again the next day. Or you're just hustling and bustling and hustling and bustling and hustling, and you forget to live. You forget to experience the joy. You forget to do the things that you've worked so hard for, because you're just like, what's next? What's next? What's next? You have a hard time slowing down to enjoy the life that you are creating for yourself. This was me. I was like, I have to do more. What's my next goal? I would never stop to celebrate. I would always look for, how can I reach more people? What's my next sale? What's my next step? How can I do this? How can I do that? I never slowed down to like enjoy the moment, ever. Which is why I find it so incredibly important to slow down and breathe. Take breaths, relax, focus, meditate, take in the moment. There was days where I would go through the whole day and I would just be so busy all day that I would like get done at the end of the day and I'd be like, what the fuck did I do all day? I don't even know, because I was so go that I was on autopilot, just straight up on autopilot. I'd look back and I'd be like, well, I got a whole bunch of shit done, but I don't feel like I was accomplished. I don't feel successful. So I have to tell myself, I am present. I am focused. I am mindful. And when I say those statements, I embody that. It helps me embody that. And I write these things down. Like, I set intentions for the day. You know, I am strong. I am brave. I can do this. I want to do this. Possibilities are everywhere, right? So I want you to practice I am statements. Write them down, put them on a Post-it note, put them everywhere. This is for all areas of your life. Like, literally, worthiness is probably one of the biggest things that come up. A lot of people that I speak with don't feel confident, or they don't feel worthy of themselves to reach their goals. Like, I don't deserve this. Oh, I have to do this before I'm validated. Oh, I have to do this first, or this first, or this first. Why can't you be worthy right now? I am worthy today. I am capable of anything I set my mind to. Pick whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. It can be in your, like I said, in your personal life, in your fitness, in your health, overall health, in your eating habits, in your business, in your sales calls. Like, I talk to a lot of women who want to increase sales or increase profit in their business, and they have no idea, no idea where to start. They'll say things like, oh, I can't reach out to that person. This is hard. That's impossible. I could never do that. Like, challenge yourself, man. You can do it. I'll give you the strategy. You just have to take action. And I'm telling you, practice makes progress. I don't care who you are. You don't learn this shit overnight. You're not born with this ability. You walk, or you crawl before you walk, right? You don't beat yourself up when you fall down the first time that you walk. You just get right back up and keep going until someday you're running a freaking marathon, right? You just have to keep going. Whatever it is that you feel like you can't do, tell yourself you don't want to do that and see how that feels. And if it doesn't feel good, find a way to make it happen. Find a way. So start practicing I am statements, and then ask yourself, what does a worthy person do? And then go do those things. What does a strong person do? Go do those things. What does a badass person do? Go do those things. What is a happy, healthy, profitable, successful? What do these people do? For the longest time, I've always been abnormal. My brain works differently than most people. Some people really dig it. Some people really don't. But for a while there, I was on a bad path, and I could have had a very different life had I chose a different road. So at that point in my life, I could have been like in and out of the system. I'm talking like drugs, alcohol, jail, shit like that. But I had to tell myself, what would a normal person do? What would a person who doesn't get shit-faced every weekend do? What would a person who doesn't booze cruise, what would they do? What would a responsible adult do? And then I would list those things out, and then I would go do those things. Not that I necessarily identified with like a quote normal person, but normal people don't live the life that the path that I was going down. So I had to tell myself, how do normal people live? I am a normal person. What does a normal person do throughout their day? They get up, they eat breakfast, they go to work, they go home, they go to bed. And I did that for a while, and that was great. That got me out of a lot of freaking trouble. It got me in a good place to where I was able to start my own business, right? But I had to tell myself that that's who I was. I didn't sit there and say, I could never do that. I can't do that. Because if I didn't, I'm telling you guys, I would be in a very, very different place today. A very different place today. So let me ask you, if you want to be strong, if you want to be successful, if you want to be whatever it is, I am fill in the blank. And then ask yourself what a person who embodies that, what do they do? What does somebody who is brave, what do they do? What is somebody who has a successful business, what do they do? Somebody who is great at sales calls, what do they do? Figure out what action steps they take on a daily basis, and then make those part of your day. And before you know it, you will be that person. How you talk to yourself is powerful. So powerful. And the energy behind it. At the beginning, it feels weird, and you're like, ugh, this is weird. I don't really feel strong, but I want to be strong. Tell yourself you're strong and practice things that will make you strong until you become strong. I don't even really like to say like fake it till you make it, but when you create the habits of a strong person, of a successful person, of a profitable person, you will start to notice that you embody that. You ingrain it into your brain. You are literally rewiring your brain to think and become this part of you. This part of you that you want to become. So do it. Stop telling yourself, I wish, I can't, or it must be nice, or I can never, and so on. Find a way to make it happen. Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you want to be part of the challenge, if you want more support, reach out to me. Head over to the free Facebook group, again, facebook.com/badassvillage. You can post in there. You can send me an email at support@sashadavis.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram at sasha.davis. I love hearing from you guys. I love your feedback. If you enjoyed this episode, I also want to encourage you to take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram. I'm super active on Instagram. I love it. If you want to see the behind the scenes of everything, go follow me on Instagram. Follow my stories. I'll bring you along for the ride. You might enjoy it. All right, guys. Talk to you next time. Peace out.